Can everyone hear me? Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. We are going to try to get started, even though we're a little bit late. We certainly appreciate everyone being here. And we would certainly like, I don't want to yell at Mr. Kerrigan because he's one of the honorees, but we'd love for him to find his chair so we can get started. So for those of you who don't know who I am, that's very fortunate for you. I am Salvatore LaRocca. I am a graduate of LaSalle Academy's class of 1982, and I also have the pleasure of serving as the chair of the Board of Trustees for this wonderful school. I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight, and on behalf of my Gala co-chair, Mr. Vincent Tisi, who unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight, I'd like to, like I said, thank you. I know for many of you, certainly for me, this is the first time actually wearing clothes in about 14 months, and being out in front of lots of people and being able to shake hands and hug and say hello to those that we haven't seen in a long time. So I know it's still not quite normal, but it took a more than normal effort to get here, so we very much appreciate that. I'm going to introduce Brother Dennis Lee. Brother Dennis is the visitor of the Christian Brothers District of Eastern North America, or otherwise known as DINA, and he is going to give the invocation for the evening. So Brother Dennis.
Please stay seated. Good evening, Cardinals, one and all. In a moment, I will invoke God's blessing upon our gathering, but allow me a moment to express, on behalf of the brothers, our appreciation for all the hard work being done on the ground so that the rich history of 173 years will continue. LaSalle Academy has been a priority for us brothers throughout all these years, and I'm happy to voice our gratitude for the partnership we share with you on behalf of the young men who continue to be served at LaSalle. The mission is succinctly expressed thus: we educate students of diverse cultural and socioeconomic backgrounds with special outreach to those most in need. This is LaSalle. This is LaSallian. And what a blessing that throughout the pandemic, the students stayed safe and they continue to learn. So now, let us pause to remember that we are in the holy presence of God. Good God Almighty, we give you all the praise and glory for the gift of life, for the joy of being together in person this evening, and for the opportunity to work tirelessly on behalf of a mission that matters in our world and in our city. We recall that at 7 p.m. each night, month after month, appreciative citizens clanged pots and pans to express heartfelt gratitude for the frontline workers. Tonight, we give thanks to all who have sacrificed on behalf of all those who have suffered through this pandemic. And we ask your blessings upon all who have lost loved ones. And we hope that the lost have found a home in heaven with you. We take so many gifts for granted, but tonight we thank you for our breath, our families, our education, our post-pandemic hope, our sound minds, our faith and our zeal, and our commitment to this great school which unites us. We can also easily take food for granted, while people in our own city and around our world live from meal to meal. Bless all of us with a heart that is not at rest, while any of your children go without basic necessities. Nonetheless, let us thoroughly enjoy this evening's food and conversation, which will nourish us completely. Bless our students, their families, and all stakeholders, including all in this flock of cardinals who are gathered here at this amazing setting this evening. And we ask all blessings in Jesus' name, amen. St. John Baptist de La Salle, live Jesus in our hearts.
Thank you, Brother Dennis. We're going to get started with this evening's program, and for those of you that may have joined us in the past, it's a little bit different this year. Obviously, we're in a different room. We have far fewer people than we've had in recent years, but that doesn't take away from the school's ongoing commitment to educate these young men, as Brother Dennis mentioned. I'd like to thank, on behalf of all the folks at LaSalle, Tribeca Rooftop for hosting us. I was actually hosted here 22 years ago. I got married in this room. The band played right there. We had a few more tables back there, but it's a wonderful room, very fond memories, and it's really nice to be back here. I think everyone knows this. The purpose of this evening, in addition to getting to say hello to some old friends and make some reacquaintances and maybe some newer acquaintances, is to raise money for the school. So we had a goal of raising $500,000 before the end of this evening. I think we're getting pretty close to the goal, but not close enough that I'm not going to spend a little bit of time reinforcing that we're here to raise money on behalf of the school. So hopefully you won't get tired of that message as we go through the evening. I think you all probably know this. I mean, the cost of educating young men, or anyone for that matter, continues to go up. And based on where we fit in the kind of high school world in New York City, the students that are attracted to our school are oftentimes in need of financial assistance. So that's what ultimately brings us all together here this evening. So that will be, in effect, a recurring theme. I'm told donating is really, really simple. Really simple. It's you can text LaSalle to 91999 from your phone, and or you can donate through the website. So I will continue to say that. I think as of now, I'm looking at a running total. I guess you're looking at the same screen. So we have a little bit of ways to go, but the night is still young. I'd like to welcome now Brother Thomas Casey, my, I guess what I would say my partner in crime, as we kind of embark on the journey of board chair and school president of LaSalle. And he's someone that I've gotten to know over the last couple of years during his time at LaSalle. And I often say to him and Brother Dennis during our weekly conversations or bi-weekly conversations that my most fun time spent during the week is talking to those two men. And I mean that, and I say it all the time. Although Brother Dennis and I would much rather talk about baseball than I think most other things. But in any event, Brother Thomas, please join me at the podium.
It is so nice to look out and see smiles. It's really wonderful. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being part of the life of LaSalle Academy. This is my first LaSalle Academy Gala or scholarship benefit. It's also my first hybrid fundraiser. So as is true with most of what I've done professionally since March of 2021, I really don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying my best to do it well. So thank you again for being here. As Sal emphasized, I do know that we're here to raise money, but we're also here together to celebrate service, generosity, and achievement. And we acknowledge those traits not in the abstract, but as manifested in the lives of Michael Ambrosino, of Stefan Barnes, and of Stephen Kerrigan. So, and those lives are connected because of LaSalle Academy. So, yeah, we're here to raise money, but we're also here to say thank you to those three men. Sal described the impact that your gift will have on a current LaSalle Academy student. Take, for example, Arturo, not his real name, a rising senior recently inducted into the National Honor Society, the only son of a single mother, an immigrant, who she lost her job towards the very beginning of the pandemic. Even worse, the company disappeared. So her quest to try and find funding and help in a variety of ways was really difficult because there was no paper trail saying that she had an employer once upon a time. Consequently, her ability to cover the cost of her son's tuition really became very difficult. So we helped her out a little bit more than we were already helping her out, and gave her an extension to continue to pay, but then the pandemic just got worse. Now, as he's about to enter senior year, she's all concerned about, brother, how am I going to be able to cover Arturo's tuition costs, my share of it? And I assured her, I said, don't worry. I said, we have generous people who God sends our way, and they make it happen. And so I'm just saying to you, realize that, yeah, okay, you're here to give money to the school, but you're also instruments of God's generosity manifested in our world and making a difference for somebody like Arturo, who, by the way, is 17 years old and is out pounding the pavement looking for a summer job. So he's taking his responsibility seriously as well. If you've looked on the website or on your phone, you'll see that we've got 3 different payment suggestions, donation suggestions, use whatever vocabulary you choose. Here's the rationale behind them. One of them is $2,750. That pays for 1/4 of a student's annual tuition. And if you make a donation in that amount, you're signed up to become what we refer to as a LaSallian patron, are paired with a student, and have an opportunity to be in touch with him and encourage him in his academic and social and athletic pursuits during his time at LaSalle. Second category that's there is $1,200. That covers the expenses associated with a retreat for a religion class. Very happy that in the crowd gathered here this evening is Brother Richard Galvin. Brother Richard is joining our faculty as our campus minister, and part of his responsibility will be coordinating those retreats, and we're really excited to be able to have them, but they incur a cost. And for $1,200, we can get one of those retreats. We have a total of 12 of them, or we can get one of them covered. So that's why we picked $1,200. Brother Richard, hello over there. And $500, we chose that amount because we did a little crunching in our business office to say, what does it cost if we look at a per pupil cybersecurity, internet access, network maintenance, tablet rental, all that kind of stuff, academic software? What does it come out to per student per year? And the answer is about $500. So that's why 500 is one of those choices as well. Of course, donations of any amount are welcome. Now I invite you, I told you about Arturo, and I gave him a pseudonym. Now I invite you to look on your screens because you're going to get a brief message from 4 of our students who are identified with their real names. Recent graduate Oliver Tang, rising seniors Mariano Mitchell and Frank Reyes, and rising junior Eamon Mugen.
I didn't think that school was my thing. I always thought it was just something I gotta do because I gotta do it. And LaSalle made me realize that I can do things. I just gotta have a right setting for everything. And especially here, they give you everything you need, so.
Us as a LaSalle community, we're brothers and we stand together and we help each other when we're down. And as brothers, we can stand up for each other and we just work together.
It's had a positive impact on my education. I came from public school to coming to here, it's a different environment, I'd say. I say it helps the kids because it's smaller classrooms and you get to know your teachers and the teachers get to know you and help you individually instead of a big 30-person classroom, gives homework, that's it, you don't really speak much.
I feel like everyone here wants me to succeed, and you can feel everyone wants you to do well. Everyone's always cheering you up and telling you that you can do better than you are, and I always feel like I can strive for better.
Having a scholarship has made it a lot easier for my parents to pay the tuition fees for LaSalle.
So if my sponsor was here, I'd say, thank you for funding my education, and that without your assistance, I wouldn't be here, and I'll make sure that your trust in me is well placed.
If I didn't have my scholarship, I think I wouldn't be in the school, so I do like my sponsor for investing in me and giving me this chance that if they didn't, I wouldn't have this chance to be at LaSalle.
It's made me feel like someone believes in my education, and it makes me strive to succeed because I know someone has their faith and their money going into my education. Thank you for investing in me, investing in my future, investing in my education, because coming here I have everything I really need.
Thank you for supporting my education in LaSalle.
It's always best to hear from the young men at LaSalle. I don't think anyone can tell their story better than they can. Like we started saying a few minutes ago, this has been an incredible 14 or so, maybe 16 or so months. And one of the things that it has afforded, at least some of us that are on the LaSalle Board of Trustees, is to actually meet and connect a little bit more frequently than we would have otherwise been able to do because we haven't done anything in person and we've done things on video screen. And through that, I've gotten to spend probably a little bit more time with Stefan Barnes than I would have normally been able to spend. For those of you who don't know Stefan, he's a graduate of the class of 1997. He's just a terrific, terrific guy. I think everyone that knows him would say that about him. He's obviously here with his beautiful family at table number 3. And he is someone who has begun to make a very significant impact at LaSalle Academy. So one of the traits that I think Stefan brings to every interaction is authenticity, and he's very, very, very focused on the things that are really important. So he keeps the important things important. And I think for all of us that have been connected to the school, and with Stefan now being a full-fledged board member and the chair of our finance committee, all this while juggling a new job in Chicago. Every once in a while we see him in that office, and every once in a while we see him on a phone from his car when he's dialing in, and every once in a while we see him at his home in New Jersey. But we are honored to have him as part of the Board of Trustees at LaSalle. I'm honored to call him my friend, and he is the first of tonight's honorees. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Stefan Barnes. Make a little speech after you take this. So first take the photo. Obviously a rookie.
Obviously a rookie. Sal calls me a rookie. What Sal doesn't know is that I've been to a number of these things via my sponsor, who was my dad, my guardian angel, Lou Riccadelli, who was my sponsor in high school. And if it wasn't for Lou Riccadelli, Stefan Barnes wouldn't be Stefan Barnes, and he damn sure wouldn't be here. I would like to thank my wife, my kids, TT, my Uncle Wayne, who I'm named after, for riding with me throughout my entire ride of life. There's two things that define your attitude, your patience when you have nothing, and your attitude when you have everything. And right now, I'm in the driver's seat with everything. And if it wasn't for Lou Riccadelli, goddamn, I wouldn't have nothing. And Karen Riccadelli, my other mother, the nights crying, saying, oh, I graduated from college and I don't have a job. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Everything's don't worry, and I really never had to worry. Lou Riccadelli put me through high school. He put me through college. He saved my life, you know. And so when Sal talks about the younger guys and what they wouldn't be, this is a perpetual relay race. Lou Riccadelli passed me a baton. I'm going to pass that baton to somebody else, and they're going to run as fast as they can and as far as they can with that baton. And hopefully one day they'll get a chance to be at one of these things, because when I was a kid, I aspired to be Lou Riccadelli. Lou Riccadelli embodied what it meant to be an extraordinary human being. Lou Riccadelli thought excellence was colorless before it was convenient. Today it's convenient. He did it when nobody cared. He did it when nobody paid attention to it. He hired gay people when nobody paid attention to it. He was agnostic, and deliberately agnostic. Lou Riccadelli told me there are three types of people in this world: people who are willing and not able, people who are able and not willing, and people who are willing and able. My question to you all is, who are you? I know who he is. Sal told you a little bit about who I am, and he called me a rookie, but this is the first, but it won't be my last. I'm waiting for Veterans Day. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.
Congratulations, Stefan. Thanks, Mr. Riccadelli, for your contribution to that great man. Appreciate that. I spoke earlier about our retreat program and the fact that LaSalle Academy is a Catholic school. One of the things that happened to me earlier this month when we had graduation at St. Patrick's on the 3rd of June, at the conclusion of the ceremony in that magnificent, sacred, historic space, in the vestibule, one of the seniors, a young man whose family is from Vietnam, came to me and said, "Brother, can I take a picture with you?" I mean, that happens to me often, so I said, sure, I'd be happy to. Not because I'm a movie star, but I think just because kids like to have their picture taken with the president of the school. So anyway, I do my official presidential pose, and he's there with his dad and his mom. And then his dad comes over to me and says, "Brother, would you bless my family? Would you bless my family?" So we got in a little huddle. The young man, his mom, his dad, and me. And I said a blessing. I have no clue what I said. But the fact that the family was looking for that, and the fact that we, as a Catholic school, conveyed the sense that part of what we do is impart blessings, really was a powerful experience for me. Hence, the focus on talking about maybe you can help us fund a retreat program. Let's see how we're doing with our fundraising. Check in on that screen, please. And don't forget to make your gift to help us reach our goal of $500,000. Just text LaSalle to 91999 from your smartphone. And if you're like me and live in Bedrock with the Flintstones and have no idea how to do that, you can go to our website, www.lasalleacademy.org/benefit, or an old-fashioned write a check and put it in the mail works as well. So thanks so much for supporting us and our identity as a Catholic school. That spirit of brotherhood inheres in our corporate identity, I think in part because of our Catholic value system, which brings with it an attentiveness to others, especially those most in need. That sense of brotherhood and that attentiveness to others are hallmarks of LaSalle Academy in 2021, and I would bet in 1848 when the school opened as well. An alumnus who leaves our school with that approach to life, believing in the value of brotherhood and demonstrating attentiveness to others and their needs, is someone who has the ability to sustain what a LaSalle Academy graduate is. And that's the kind of people we want to affirm and honor tonight. And that's why Michael Ambrosino is here tonight, because that's part of who he is. Low key, when we first approached him about being an honoree, no, brother, that's not me. I fly under the radar. You know, I do it because I want to do it. Let me think about it. And he thought about it. And anyway, he's here from Connecticut because he thought about it and said yes and waited all these months for this. But low key, habitually grateful. Even tonight when I saw him for the first time in close to 2 years, you know, we talked about making our way through the craziness of the pandemic, and his perspective on it was, yeah, it was an experience that we grew through, and here we are, better for it. Consistently caring. For 33 years, as far back as our computerized database takes us, Michael has been a consistent, regular donor to his alma mater. And he's mindful of his roots. More about that later. He is a great role model for all LaSalle alums. Michael grew up with his parents and older brother in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. Having lived in Greenpoint myself once upon a time, I can kind of appreciate what living in Greenpoint would have meant. Graduated from St. Anthony of Padua Parish, and in 1962 from LaSalle Academy, followed by a BS in finance from Gannon University and an MBA from LIU. Michael spent the bulk of his career in the oil business, holding jobs in operations, marketing, supply distribution, trading, and brokering. And he learned both the domestic and the foreign sides of the oil business while establishing many valuable contacts throughout the industry. And eventually, Michael and his wife, Lynn, founded Brooklyn Oil Associates. Now, he was in Connecticut, but Brooklyn Oil Associates, connecting to his roots. Fulfilling a promise he made to himself early in his career, he retired at the age of 70, handing the company over to a dedicated employee who had served it admirably for over 2 decades. Not the usual way that a business moves from hand to hand. Michael has had many titles in his professional and personal life, but he's proudest of his role as husband to Lynn, father, grandfather, veteran, having served in the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War. He's an active parishioner of St. Michael the Archangel Parish in Greenwich, Connecticut. And he's been involved in many church activities and community organizations, often assuming leadership roles and coaching responsibilities. Besides volunteering, his interests include long-distance running. He's finished 7 New York marathons. 7 New York marathons. I can't imagine crawling that distance, to say nothing about running it. And he likes playing golf and tennis. However, his real passion, though, is watching the Rangers. So any Rangers fans in the house, check up Michael later. You can compare notes about what they should be doing in order to be more successful. Over the decades, the Ambrosino Philanthropy Foundation was established to aid disadvantaged folks. And in memory of his parents, Margaret and Philip Ambrosino, the Ambrosino Family Scholarship serves to financially assist students at LaSalle Academy. What's important to Michael are family and friends. His wife of 50 years, Lynn, is here, as is his son, Philip. LaSalle Academy is honored to be included among the friends in that gathering of family and friends. Michael is receiving a LaSallian Medal today for his steadfast dedication and commitment to our mission of providing a human and Christian education to young people, especially those most in need. He's been an active and consistent benefactor, contributing to the school's capital campaign in the early 2000s, and has been a student sponsor for nearly 2 decades. Please acknowledge LaSallian Medal recipient, Michael Ambrosino. Michael, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I don't know if I can live up to that billing.
When
How are you?
You know, my mother's maiden name is Ambrosino. No.
You got a 20. Okay.
you can hold this,
Oh, okay.
because it's yours now.
We good?
We're good.
Over here for the time
Okay,
being,
you
so I
can
don't-
do that.
So I don't drop it.
That's all right.
You know, I don't know if I could live up to that billing that father, I mean, that Brother Thomas just gave me, so but I'm going to try it, okay? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Brother Thomas, Miss Coney, Gallico Stairs, Salvatore LaRocca, Vincent Tessie, fellow rewards recipients Stefan Barnes, Stephen Kerrigan, LaSalle faculty, administrators, students, my family members, Lynn, my wife, my son Philip. For your information, my wife has much to do with this award as I do. In fact, she should be standing here also. We both We both contributed to LaSalle. We both have the utmost admiration for LaSalle. But I thank you. I'm going to tell you a little story, okay? It won't be long. Truth be told, I almost didn't get here tonight. I didn't get stuck in traffic. My car didn't break down. But to explain it, I got to take you back to May of 1958. I was an 8th grade student at St. Anthony of Padua in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. During that period, there is a school in Brooklyn called Bishop Loughlin, which is another Christian Brothers school. And they offered 2 4-year scholarships to high school if you passed the entrance exam. Lo and behold, I took that exam and I passed it. And my parents were ecstatic because of my academic achievement. And financially it helped. See, my dad was a butcher in the local neighborhood store. My mom tended to all their domestic needs, the family's needs, as well as having sundry jobs to help ends meet. So we were ecstatic about that I won this award. That's the good news. The bad news is, 2 days later, we get a call from the principal of St. Anthony of Padua. And they're saying, please come on down, we have something to tell you. Well, make a long story short, they recorrected my exam, okay? And I spelled knives wrong. To this day, I could promise you, I will always remember it. I spelled knives wrong. So, to make a long story short, they took my scholarship away and gave it to another person. So, to make a long, needless to say, my parents were disappointed, but they had the resolve to provide me with a good Catholic education. So here I am standing before you, a proud graduate of LaSalle Academy. But something just happened for the best. Now, I will tell Brother Thomas, if he calls me in the next 2 days and I don't answer the phone, he knows why, okay? Those are my thoughts. Okay, there is no question that LaSalle provided me with a good academic background that led me to achieve a BS in undergraduate in finance and an MBA in accounting, and finding my own company, Brooklyn Oil Associates. However, the true value of LaSalle education transcends academics. It reinforced the core values that my parents instilled in me, that of compassion, integrity, humility, empathy, generosity, and honesty. And if there's one lesson that was embedded in my mind during my LaSalle years, it was, and hopefully it still is, brother, let us always remember that we are in the presence of God. I'll never forget that after every class. Throughout my career, I often wondered why I was somewhat successful. You know, there were others more intelligent than I. There were others who persevered more than I, maybe more. Then I thought maybe luck had a big thing to do with it. But you know, luck is short term. It happens, like winning the lottery. It's very short term. My career spanned almost 5 decades, so I kind of dismissed luck. And then it dawned on me. The reason I was so successful, God gave me a gift. It's like he was telling me, Michael, we gave you all the abilities here. Now, what are you going to do with it? That's a tough test to pass. It's not like an academic test where you take a test, you hand in your booklet, and an hour later you're done with it. This test was lifelong, and it's still continuing. And my wife and I chose LaSalle and other organizations to pass this test by giving something back, a means of giving something back to acknowledge the blessings that were bestowed upon us. And I still realize this test is continuing, as well as my support for our school. I am honored and I'm humbled in accepting this award and proud to be an alumnus of LaSalle Academy. And I thank you all for hearing that. And brother, thank you very much.
Michael, again, congratulations and thank you for your generosity to LaSalle. And speaking of generosity, let's see where we are with our thermometer at this point on our quest to get to 25,000 to bring us, oh, okay, we're climbing. The 4 students on the video, the 2 stories that I shared with you about Arturo and the Vietnamese American student, all tie into LaSalle's founding story, still playing out 173 years later. And got a little musical interlude. One of our rising seniors named Aaron Gray plays the piano. So he'll give you a little touch of music and an opportunity for you to take out those phones. And LaSalle is the word, 91999. One word, LaSalle. Daria reminds me, one word, LASALLE. Text LaSalle to 91999. And the other ways of donating you know about as well. So listen to Aaron, relax at your table for a few minutes, and get a drink.
Hello again. Sorry for interrupting our interruption. But we have just one more honoree. We have one more honoree. I was just passed a note because it appears like some people are wondering why we're focused on raising $25,000. So the reason why we're focused on raising $25,000 is that the overall goal was $500,000, and we had raised $475 prior to this evening. So in order for us to get to the overall goal of 500, 25 was the remaining amount there. So we're getting close. Apparently, there have been some glitches with the mobile system, but I think we have roughly 13,000 or so raised so far. So thank you for that, and so we're getting close to the goal. So as you've heard from the many folks that have been up at this podium tonight, one of the most crucial parts of the education that I think I and the other alum that are in the room have received at LaSalle is primarily because of the teachers. And I've had many influential teachers in my life, most of which, if not all of which, were during my time at LaSalle, some of which are actually here tonight, which is just a fun thing. And I know for those alum, I know it's always a hard transition to go from calling the teachers Mr. fill in the blank to then calling them by their first name. I think I finally made the transition where now I can call the teachers all by their first names. It's actually a wonderful thing. I'm sure I'm speaking for everyone here who went to LaSalle that the 4 years that we spent there were filled with many memories. And like I said, not only through relationships that you built with classmates and different experiences during your time there, but memories of your experiences with different teachers. Mr. Stephen Kerrigan, who taught from LaSalle Academy from 1969 until 2012, was one of the teachers that was teaching when I was a student there. I never had a class with Mr. Kerrigan as a teacher because he was a Spanish teacher, and I was busy getting 70s in Italian at that time. He has played a role in the lives of many young men over the course of his time at LaSalle. I remember back when I was a student, there was a big chunk of the teachers that unfortunately had to supplement their income from being a teacher at LaSalle by working at, I think it was FedEx. Was it FedEx? FedEx, where they would leave the school at the end of the academic day and then go over to the West Side and work for FedEx. And I never really understood that. I mean, I was a young kid at the time and never really understood why a teacher would have to do that. But it just spoke to the commitment of Mr. Kerrigan and the other teachers at the time that being at the school was really a labor of love. And even though they had to spend the second part of the day supplementing their income, they always seemed to have time for all of us for any situation at any time. Mr. Kerrigan, or Stephen, or Steve, is being honored this year as the Educator of the Year. And it's an honor that we bestow on a former member of the faculty every year. And Mr. Kerrigan has deserved this for a long time. There are a lot of students who were students in Mr. Kerrigan's classes that still talk about how the impact that he had on them. And none of them can speak Spanish, by the way, but they all talk about how great a teacher he actually was. So at this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Kerrigan to come up and accept the award for Educator of the Year. No.
When I was asked to accept this award, I let my thoughts roam back 43 years to the time I entered LaSalle. What was I going to speak about? My teaching, my expertise, my friends, the range of positive experiences that I have there, and especially my students? Yes, all of them. LaSalle afforded me the environment to formulate endless expertise in teaching. To my surprise, I was very good at it. And I can honestly say that when asked what I was going to say after so many years in LaSalle, I couldn't remember what I was going to say. The first 20 years went by like a lightning. I met very good friends, excellent students. The next 20 years went by just as fast. Over the years, I experienced friendships with a good many students and especially faculty members. Many still are friends, and I feel grateful for their fellowship. My adult friends, many of whom are here tonight, were great motivators for education. Many of my former students have become doctors and lawyers, engineers, law enforcement, etc. So, with the context of LaSalle and the Christian Brothers, I thank all for providing an environment that made all of these possible. So thank you all, and live Jesus in our hearts forever.
We have one little extra gift is we have a little book here for Mr. Kerrigan, which is an ode to him from many of his former students. So we also
Thank you, Sal. Thank you.
You're welcome, Steve. Steve, from one educator to another, congratulations. Lots of people made today a significant event for us to make this happen. Grateful to my colleague in school administration, our principal, Ms. Carrie Conroy. Thank you, Carrie, and all your colleagues. Thank you to Daria Coney and Zenaida Sonberg for their work in our advancement office. And a big thank you as well to the members of our Board of Trustees. We have a good number of trustees present here. I just invite the trustees in the room, including the two who are brand new, Ramon and Tara. Trustees, please stand so people can see who you are and where you are. Really blessed to be able to work with such a talented group of caring and generous people. If you take a look at the thermometer right now in our quest to get to the 25, we did it. We did it, I think. We did it. We just need a teeny bit more. But I think it's doable. I think it's doable before the sun goes down. And there's no problem if we exceed 25,000 either. The goal is $500,000, so a little bit more on top of $500,000 is perfectly fine. Notice, no raffle tickets, no split the pots, no Chinese auctions, no silent auctions, no live auctions, just a straightforward, would you please contribute? So the third thing in the category I spoke about before, all right, we made it. And I know also in addition to what we see in terms of what got punched in, I do know that one of our board members, Howard McGee, and his wife Ellen, they have pledged $11,000, which is tuition for one student for 1 year. So thank you, Howard and Ellen. So that brings us beyond the $500,000 mark. No reason why we can't keep climbing. There are more rungs on that ladder. And as we talk about our quest for some money and technology, the technology piece, this whole pandemic situation made it super clear that having the right kind of technology is so important. So think about the technology contribution for $500 if you haven't yet done anything, and some of the $11,000 is a little beyond your reach. 500 or some fraction of that would be great as well. And we have another musical interlude with a rising senior named Jack Walsh. Enjoy that as your entree is being served. And then we'll be back in a few minutes to wrap it up. Woo-hoo.
All right, this is the last you're going to hear from me, so I know that's great news. I just wanted to thank everyone for attending this evening and donating. And obviously, you could still donate throughout the rest of the night. We have special thanks to just our venue sponsors here. The LaSalle Academy New York City Brothers community, we, in actual fact, couldn't do anything without the support of the Brothers community. Dr. James McPartland from the class of 1957, the Sharp family, and my gala co-chair, Mr. Vincent Teasy, who's from the class of 1960. I think everyone knows, because you're already eating it, dinner is now being served. And on behalf of all of us associated with LaSalle, thank you for coming, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.